Dateline, Martinez, March 51. The ramshackle tenements, the drug-addled tenants, the bug-rattled cretins. These are the approximate rhymes of Disco Elysium, pulsating in our limbic system with beats glorificus. I, a humble player, have guided Harry Dubois through the boulevards of crack-smoke and dreams times uncounted, but registered at nearly 300 hours. Through my unspeakably elongated playthroughs, I have protected Harry from this bedraggled world with a bulging cornucopia of communist runs and a vulgar pornucopia of lesser political vision quests. Alas, my cup runneth over, spilling sanguine red deliciousness onto the carpet. How may I re-experience the sensation of the broken pavement coldly pressed against my face once more? I'll tell you how.
Hardcore!
Hardcore mode increases the challenge of every white skill check and the cost of all healing items, all while decreasing the amount of money carelessly littered throughout the decrepit district. Internally coherent, baby, but that is not all. What if, in addition to hardcore mode, I do not give Harry all his initial skill points? I can tweak his physique up to 6, leave everything else at 1, and discard the remaining points like a candy bar wrapper into the incorrect recycling bin. The limits on skill points will narrow Harry's options in solving his tasks in the overall Sherlockian escapade. They are terrible starting stats that will dog Harry throughout the murder mystery. I will still use skill points as they are awarded in the game, though, but that is still not all. What if I sign a commitment with myself to never save scum? No sneakily rolling for success ad nauseum when gutter stuck in the quicksand of the game's difficulty. I will only replay if Harry collapses into a pool of blood or commits psychological seppuku, thunderstruck with a game over. But that is still not all. What if, in an effort to give myself a political seizure, I force Harry to choose the most incomprehensible bad decisions imaginable? Fascist, evil, bereft of empathy. In addition to my personal discomfort, choosing the fascist dialogue choice causes morale damage which can lead to shame-induced heart failure, death by cringe. I will allow myself to assign volition as Harry's special skill to make this run playable, albeit still crushingly challenging. But that is still not all. What if, every time Harry drinks, smokes, swallows, and otherwise ingests consumables, I repeat the action here in the real world? The connection to Harry would be increased, not to mention the challenge. I absolutely will not describe the specifics of what I will be injecting and guzzling into my body. Everyone can just use their infinite powers of their own imaginations to draw their own conclusions. Some of the stuff in Disco Elysium does not actually exist, and comparable replacements will be necessary. For the record, I am blurring out these products not for legal reasons or even to conform to YouTube terms of services. I am blurring these products because the companies that made them did not compensate me for this, and I don't do free advertising. What is already swimming through my bloodstream before even starting the game? All kinds of things, probably. I mean, blood for one. Incidentally, I presently live in Boston, Massachusetts, and everything I am about to do is entirely legal, just not recommended while operating heavy machinery. Fortune smiles upon me, as Disco Elysium, the final cut, is only about 9 gigabytes. That's not heavy machinery, that's lightweight. I will be fine.
I will be fine.
If you want to support me, please subscribe to my channel, click the bell, and check out my Patreon, link in the description. Enough introductions. Time to try to not die.
There is nothing, only warm primordial blackness. You don't have to do anything anymore.
I guide my dreaming detective through his restlessness, his ancient reptilian brain tormenting him, not taking his side despite their unending marriage.
An inordinate amount of time passes. It is utterly void of struggle. No ex-wives are contained within it.
Harry had so much to drink that he erased his own save file.
A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open. It's a sound, a clarion call from hell.
Harry awakes, my puppet in what will surely be a sickening but illuminating sojourn through his mind and my own. The white and orange brain icon indicates that hardcore mode is on. I give Harry his pants and immediately regret it. My bad decisions run absolutely should have contained Harry walking around in his underwear much longer. I may need to warm my body with alcohol and other substances to reach the perfect temperature of badness. I know who I am. My first role and first failure. Like a beleaguered dad on Father's Day, Harry refuses to reach for the necktie. Harry meets a woman, and I choose the worst dialogue options imaginable. If there were worse options than this, I would choose those instead. That's the game, that's the run. I want to have fun with you.
Are you okay, sir? You look like you're about to throw up.
I'm optimistic enough to think that counts as flirting. I send Harry downstairs, and he meets Kim Kitsuragi, clad in a bright orange bomber jacket, brighter than Harry's faded orange pants, as if a tangerine had begun to rot on the vine. In previous runs, I took extra special care to get Kim to trust Harry, but this is not that run. Harry refuses to shake Kim's hand, and we are off to the races and the racism. Rather than fail to conceptualize a name, I choose a worse option: nothing. I have Harry lie about everything: how far along he is in the case, whether or not he has spoken to the cafeteria manager, the whereabouts of his heretofore unseen police badge, his overall lack of name and identity, everything. Men who are both obsessed with and terrified by their own masculinity play these power games with each other. It's a social disease, and if Harry is going to be the absolute worst, then his toxic masculinity needs to be so poisonous that it can be smelled and tasted in the air. I generally don't speak to other men in this competitive urine measuring contest. I'm insecure about 1,000 other things, thank you very much, but enough about that.
Let's play a video game.
What a shame. Get to it now. Rip that body down from the tree.
Harry's red skills are going to dominate this playthrough. Harry and Kim meet Lawrence Gart, the cafeteria manager. He is not technically the landlord because he does not own the Whirling in Rags, only manages it, but that is a mere technicality. Gart is the landlord for all intents and purposes. The building manager, we know the score. I live in Boston these days, and my rent has doubled from the cost of my apartment in Philadelphia. I am immediately hostile towards Gart, and so is Harry. Slipping away might result in the so cool that it's uncool double bird, but I choose a more instant failure option and explicitly tell Gart that no rent money is forthcoming. I intentionally climb the wrong branch in the dialogue tree and claim that Gart called Harry a homophobic slur. I have Harry abuse his authority straight away and attempt to arrest Gart. When the police and the landlords fight, it resembles a divorce.
And no one will arrest anyone because that's insane. How's that?
Sir, leash in your tongue.
Kim instinctively takes Harry's side, but not because the drunken detective is in the legal right or moral right, only because Gart was briefly and understandably rude to a police officer who was abusing his power. ACAB includes Kim Kitsuragi. Sorry. In my previous playthroughs, I never had Harry internalize the hobo cop thought, but now is the perfect time to give it a go. Eager for another piping hot helping of failure, I direct Harry to the hanged man. I choose endurance check, fully expecting to fail, but Harry's only semi-useful skills forcefully assert themselves. Harry's flesh has been preserved in alcohol, the way salt has long been used to preserve meat, poisoning it so the meat becomes lethal to bacteria. My body in the real world has been aching. Maybe my bodily beef needs alcohol. Later.
Bullets will fly. They always do. And the coil is fleshy and mush and permeable. Cast it in ceramic shell. Resist death.
Kim informs Harry that the deceased was hired as security by the Wild Pines Company, Pinkertons combined with Blackwater, to put an end to a local strike and the union. Bad decision time. I direct Harry to steal the boots in plain view of witnesses. Now that's the failure I'm looking for. The children question Harry's sexual orientation, and I decide to make Harry excruciatingly insecure about this.
Stop obsessing about your sexuality, officer. You are about to seriously compromise the coroner's case.
So what you're saying is, continue to obsess about sexuality? Got it. Despite the Inland Empire skill check failure, everything else goes smoothly in the initial inspection. I have Harry provoke Kim into shooting at the rope, holding up the hanged man. When he misses, Harry mocks him and demands the gun for himself. He fires at a child first, and misses. I do everything I can to get Kim to mistrust Harry. Hopefully it will pay off when the time comes. The conversation goes so horrendously that Harry literally dies of humiliation. The shame of it all. I only allow myself to load a save when Harry dies, not to redo a failed skill check or any other save scumming. Nevertheless, I gain the knowledge of how easy it is for Harry to die of embarrassment and increase his volition. It will not increase much higher than this. Well, here we are. My mission to instill racist, fascist, garbage beliefs into Harry is accomplished rather quickly.
So, lately we Occidentals have experienced an unfortunate downturn when members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority.
Harry only requires one bad conversation with one loser to shelf himself through the right-wing pipeline. No propaganda machine or social media app necessary. Kim is deeply disappointed in Harry, but that was the plan. I have Harry take a bribe from Call Me Mañana and face off against Measurehead. In order to interrogate the union boss, I need to get Harry and Kim past this meat mountain. He's a fellow racist, but Harry doesn't like him because he's the wrong kind of racist. Measurehead utilizes racism in a manner that does not benefit Harry. Thus, Harry concludes that Measurehead's racism makes no sense and that his own racism is correct and scientific. Despite low skills and harder skill checks, Harry's beefcake stats are high enough for a successful roll. I am disappointed that this is going better than expected, but my rule against save scumming to avoid failures will similarly not allow Harry to re-roll to earn more failures. This must happen organically. Harry kicks the racist racistly and shouts a racist slogan. Found some magnesium and an opportunity for parallel gameplay. I have magnesium in my home. Every day I take glucosamine, chondroitin, biotin, calcium, zinc, and magnesium. Am I taking magnesium right now? Soon after, Harry takes some painkillers, and so do I. What kind? Who knows? Maybe over the counter, maybe not. Don't worry about that, it's none of your business. Still missing one shoe and a necktie, Harry ignores his bodily embarrassment and interrogates Everard. Whoa. Everard Clare, the union boss. Harry's buttocks are so rock hard that he does not damage himself from sitting in the torture chair. I have Harry take a bribe, and then he crumbles like a sandcastle when the tide comes in. Maybe those painkillers were a bad idea. Harry agrees to be Everard's errand boy and intimidate one of the locals who has rubbed him the wrong way. I wouldn't want to rub Everard any way at all. Not up and down, not side to side, and certainly not diagonally. I don't rub that way. I have Harry order Measurehead to tear the body down from the tree and do my job for me. I'm not the errand boy, he is. Isn't that right? Bitch. Despite low blue skill powers, Harry passes the conceptualization check and becomes that much more racist. Harry wants to be the particular sort of racist who uses pseudoscience to back up his loser worldview. Racists love the fabulous notion that they know the real truth and everyone else just can't handle it. If racist logic reminds you of conspiracy theory logic, then you may be having an epiphany right now. Measurehead confidently broadcasts his ignorance like he has a primetime show on Fox News or 6 out of 10 YouTube channels. Harry pilfers some medicine from a drunk and gets the lowdown from Joyce Messier, the representative from Wild Pines. Harry fails a skill check and is unable to convince Joyce to give him the money that he requires for rent. In fact, Harry fails at everything. All his skills, except for the red skills like physical instrument, are so low that he must rely on small miracles of highly improbable successful dice rolls to advance. I would be bothered by this, but the painkillers are kicking in. I am without pain.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bruta.
Here it is, fascism, on day one no less. Harry did not waste any time wasting his life. Opting in. Time to invent a mythic past and pretend we can go back there. Is it too soon after taking painkillers to drink alcohol? While Harry is good and drunk, well, maybe not good, but definitely drunk, I have him radio his precinct. A little birdie told him that Sylvie knew something about the incident. Naturally, I have him be unprofessional and hit on Alice the operator for no other reason except that she is a woman. Harry's electrochemistry snatches control of his senses, and Lieutenant Dubois asks if Alice is fully prepared for clown-related nighttime activities. When Sylvie is on the line, Harry asks her for a date. My body is cringing so hard that my skeleton is attempting a prison break from my body. Harry reports his lost badge but tries to conceal that he has also lost his police-issued firearm. Harry's low skill points in everything but the meathead skills are not enough to pull off one convincing lie. Harry is no good at lying to his fellow police officers, but he is apparently an Olympic class expert at lying to himself. I had Harry declare that he sodomized another officer's mother and wrapped up the call. It's a classic sign-off. Saying I fucked your mother in the ass and she loved it is my good night and good luck. Harry concludes the call just in time to become a huge racist. Speaking of racism, Harry discovers that the door that Everard Clare needs opened belongs to, get this, a racist. In this run, Harry gets down with this though. Kim does not approve. Alright, if Harry is going to solve this mystery, he should probably start interviewing the locals.
It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together.
Maybe this is the alcohol talking, but I seem to remember the scab leader having a more obnoxious voice. You know, like one of those guys who you might agree with half the time, but you would never want to sit next to them on the bus. No moralizing. I am guiding a bad guy, a very bad guy, throughout Martinez. Gotta get my head into it. Time to frighten a child.
Sir, sorry, sir. I'm still little. I can't.
This is agonizing. Recently, I played Fallout New Vegas as a bad guy character for a change, but it was so goofy that its just a game flavor still tasted sweet. Disco Elysium tells you you did something wrong. My heart hurts. As penance, I have Harry fail a skill check and humiliate himself in front of Annette. His inability to outsmart her might make her feel better, give her some self-esteem. See that mean man? Well, he's a fool. You're a child and you're smarter than him, so you don't have to pay any mind to what he said. I'm not sure who I'm saying this to. I instruct Harry to imbibe more, and I also drink something. Harry visits the local pawn shop, owned and operated by Roy. Something about his manner alerts Harry's cop alarms and addict alarms. A successful electrochemistry roll later, and Harry has it all worked out. Roy is on Pyrrolidon, a fictional anti-radiation sickness medication that has hallucinogenic side effects, twisting Roy's perceptions beyond the horizon and into the strangosphere. It may or may not be based on similar substances in the real world, but there's nothing actually called Pyrrolidon outside of the ones and zeros of the game code. Harry slurps the drug, with Kim bearing witness, quietly judging him. With no one-to-one street pharmaceutical in the real world, I do something else entirely. Harry floats through two separate but combined intoxications. Everything tastes indigo and violet, traveling between two distant stars in two different galaxies. Kim seems oddly insistent on performing his duties in the face of all these mind-bending and way more fun recreational ingestibles. Measurehead truck slammed the body out of the tree, leaving Harry and Kim to contemplate what to do with it. Maybe we can sell his organs on the black market. I purposefully write the wrong notes during the autopsy and fail to find what's inside the brain. From previous playthroughs, I know that a bullet thundered through the corpse's now broken skull, but this Harry doesn't even know where his other shoe is. Kuno is none too pleased about Harry's attempted murder of Kuno S. Look, I know it's not politically correct to say it, but sometimes you have to shoot a child in the face to keep your service weapon in working order. The children make their own world of make-believe and pretend that Harry is trying to sexually abuse them. How dare they? Harry committed a completely different violent crime against these tots.
He knows there's nothing you can do to him. He's bullying you, and you are helpless. Kill him. Kill him now. He won't see death coming.
Harry fails a physical instrument skill check. He is devastated. If he can't pass his bodily skill checks, what good is he? Harry Dubois is jacked, stacked, especially in the back. I force Harry to lose a health point for kicking the trash container and a morale point for whinging about it. I waste a skill point on physical instrument even though I know Gart's key will do the trick. Another failure. No. I will finish what I started. Success! Kim, all Harry is doing is digging through garbage while intoxicated on two completely different, co-mingling drugs. Relax. The next leg of the interview with Joyce is not going according to plan, prompting Harry to do more Pyrrolidon, this time in plain view of our key informant. Joyce wants the detectives to get down with a side hustle, investigate the drug trafficking ring while the lorry drivers are stuck in the jam and can't escape to avoid questioning. It does not go well in the beginning, or in the middle, and barely at the conclusion. Harry manipulates Tommy into giving up a suspect. A job well done. Time for a smoke. I feel sick. Joyce is pleased. Got my snitch on. So much, in fact, that the dark spirits within Harry recruit him as an apocalypse cop. One step closer to total annihilation. Harry sees some balls and wants to get his hands on them. He passes the skill check, but this is one of those times when doing something impressively does not equal doing something correctly. Two old men have lost their game. They will turn to crime, small stuff at first until they graduate to the hard stuff. Well done. Harry tells Gart that Sylvie rides the cock carousel and that she would never want his cock because his cock smells less like a cock and more like a rubber factory farted. I have Harry be a wee bit racist to the chef. Harry drinks some more in plain view of the Whirling in Rags patrons. I drink alone in my apartment. For this exercise, that is. I upgrade Harry's savoir-faire to reach the necktie, but he fails spectacularly. In front of Kim, no less. Ah, the mirror. Fail, fail, fail. Kim is unimpressed. At the end of the day, Harry doesn't have enough money to stay at the Whirling in Rags anymore. Kim sells some hubcaps to pay for the room. Harry does not deserve Kim, especially in this playthrough. In an earlier run of the game, I had Harry resigned to a garbage container. Humiliating, depressing, and fatal. Harry smokes another cigarette and calls it a day. Day 2. Harry and Kim need to interrogate the Union tough guys about the hanging. They also need to get more out of the Union boss about the hanging, getting the feeling that this Union hanging is somehow Union-related. Harry avoids his responsibilities and asks a child for contraband amphetamines. Speed. It does not go well. Harry valiantly tries and even more valiantly fails at visual calculus. He needs to investigate these boot prints. Another point into visual calculus later, another attempt, and another failure. Maybe a smoke will help. After thoroughly debasing himself and feeling less like a man and more like a jellyfish, I have Harry question the Hardy Boys. Much like the young adult novel characters of the same name, they are unlicensed detectives. And much like the fast food restaurant of the same name, they are made of beef, cheese, and minimum wage earnings. Elizabeth is their lawyer, and she reminds Harry and Kim that she does not recognize their authority.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
The tribalism of being a police officer tickles my bones and heart, making me instinctively side with Kim on this, even though, in the real world, I both fear and hate police officers in equal measure. Elizabeth is 100% correct about police officers enforcing private property laws for wealthy capitalists more than protecting and/or serving. The interrogation goes whatever is the opposite of swimmingly. Drowning? Yes, Harry is drowning, not only in alcohol like I am right now, but in unanswered questions and unsuccessful twirls of the digital dice.
Wow! The RCM sent us some big dick cops.
Real big dick cops. Look at them, reckless, swinging in the wind.
Yeah, look at the big dick on that cop. Can't tell a dick that big what to do.
Must be something in the water in Jamrock.
Yeah, gave them real nice big dicks.
The Hardy Boys confess to the murder, but something does not feel right. Harry's cop barometer is detecting some furtive movements. Their story stinks like a men's room with no custodian. Not much of a chance to score this roll, and what? Hallelujah! A lucky roll. I have Harry push that luck and try to arrest Titus before backing down. I want Harry to make all the wrong moves, yes, but I know that this is a game over screen. There is nothing after. Ack, my bravado! Maybe I can have Harry calculize the footprints now that he's seen the Hardy Boys. Nope. Ack, my insecurities! Need another smoke and a wasted skill point. Huzzah! Darn it, I cannot get in the shack. Maybe it's nothing important. With the footprints discovered, the interrogation can continue, but it doesn't go far with Harry's lack of authority. With nothing to do, I have Harry make a little money selling empty bottles. Played this game so many times, but this is the first time doing that. Not since Postal 2 have I experienced a more degrading and dehumanizing poverty simulator. Broken and busted, Harry is left with no choice but to assert his non-existent authority. Titus knows that Harry is a racist. Maybe if Harry can pass this impossible skill check— yes! But the game says I failed it anyway? Is this a bug? Interviewing the locals goes nowhere fast.
There must be another way into the building.
Wah! What was that? Finally, I can increase Harry's authority. It's enough to scare the cleaning lady and enter the building to snoop around. Maybe it will be enough to convince Titus to— jeez.
For God's sake, stop shouting! Stop breaking things in my establishment! Stop provoking those oafs!
Harry threatens to decapitate the cafeteria manager. Decapiteria. Okay, pass the time. Fail a check to steal a sandwich from an old man. Fail a check to steal a map from a store. Boost authority one last notch and try again. Another failure. The only option remaining is for Harry to put a gun in his mouth. Somehow, inexplicably, it does not convince Titus to take him seriously. Coincidentally, Harry becomes more fascist while this is happening, but fascism is not going to work on these guys. They are politically opposed to this, and the Hardys are a rather diverse group. I have Harry break shit to get over his failures. Yeah, who's the big dick cop now? Scratch that. More like Apocalypse Cop. Finally figured out what happened to the broken window. I can do anything! Harry does more drugs in front of Titus, and I do and raise authority and try again. Fail! 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 Oh my god, what is it gonna take? After too many failures, I have Harry ask Kim to pinch hit. He sizes up Titus and gets the job done in one attempt. There's nobody like Kim Kitsuragi to make you feel inadequate. Titus claims that the hanged man committed SA on Klasia, the woman Harry met earlier. The amnesiac gumshoe collapses into a puddle of uncoolness. On the roof, Harry adds a second slippery substance into his bloodstream, and so do I. Everyone is gonna love me. Klasia cheerfully charms Harry's bodily voices. His blood is now excitedly overworking itself. Having played the game before, I know that Klasia was not the victim of an assault and that she actually enjoyed the company of the hanged man. But Harry doesn't know this. Not yet. But enough with all this police work, let's break something. Through some physical locomotion, smashing into the door has sobered up Harry. I have him drink alcohol in front of both his partner and the prime suspect/witness. I adore the alcohol indicator. Rather than something more accurate to the proceedings, like a bottle, it's this fancy glass for fancy people who drink sitting in a vermilion leather chair, wearing a flowing robe, reading Russian literature. Klasia's medicine cabinet is almost as alluring as Klasia herself. Harry passes the electrochemistry skill check and uncovers amphetamines. If he can't get it from Kuno, he'll just have to steal it. Kim has this nasty little habit of ignoring nearly every one of Harry's illegal or illicit dalliances into the realm of crime and drugs. So long as Harry does his police work, Kim wouldn't care if the space cadet sleuth did it while buck naked and snorting a sugar bag of cocaine. Failing the interfacing skill check does nothing but hurt Harry's feelings, not hurt his chances at doing speed. I have Harry pocket it in plain view to see what Kim does. I want Harry to do speed right away, but because of my insistence on following Harry's actions with my own, I conclude that being on 3 different intoxicants at the same time would be a mistake that I won't walk away from. I can't end up like Harry. Moderation, that's the true path. Day 3. Still much to do. A man wearing a misshapen wig tells Harry that he is a fecal golem, prompting some big muscle flexes that makes everyone in the cafeteria cream their jeans. Nobody notices the failed skill check, not with all that creaming going on. No time for this. The water lock has been repaired. Harry's visual calculus malfunctioned at every turn, unable to decipher the tire tracks and damage caused by his motor carriage. Nevertheless, the truth is soon to be revealed. Harry rolled his motor carriage into the sea, unrescued by unhelpful dolphins. After several go-arounds on the carousel, Harry convinces Titus to level with him. Titus says that a woman named Ruby might be our culprit, but I am so dazed and confused that I forget why. Oh well, doesn't matter, the game is afoot, and I'm posting feet. Klasia has been manipulating Harry this whole time, with her womanly ways and her come-hither curves. Harry's inner voices are not waking up, and his skills are so low that outmaneuvering the most elusive and beguiling resident of Martinez is proving impossible. Look at these locked and failed skill checks. This is embarrassing. Harry needs to regain some footing with women and stabilize his humiliation. In the least shocking outcome of the playthrough, this goes poorly. Devastation in the scrotal region. Harry finds a bullet under some floorboards. It may belong to Ruby. In the meantime, Harry botches shaving. The tasks on this side of the waterlock are several shades of necessary and unnecessary. With the right shivers roll, most can be bypassed, but that's challenging without save scumming. I made an oath not to do that. Side hustle 1. Harry finds a dead body on the boardwalk. Following some light detective work, Harry informs the dead man's wife. Shockingly, Harry has enough empathy to pass the check, but it's all downhill from there. I purposefully choose the most agonizing dialogue options.
If you say, 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress.
I mean, I probably could have said something worse, like,
That's all, folks.
Side Hustle 2. Harry meets the racist weasel. In this run, Gary and Harry are both fascists, but Harry still has a job to do. A bad job, that is. I know, because I have played this before, that Gary is wearing stolen armor. Harry can't quite get his brain in motion and speculates that the rattling sound must be anal beads. I love that Kim knows exactly what anal beads sound like. Harry stumbles his guesswork yet again, and the armor remains hidden forever. Anyway, this side hustle really isn't about Gary. It's about searching for make-believe monsters. It's the most tedious part of the game because it consists entirely of running to the same spots over and over again, checking traps. So I will not bore you with the footage. Side Hustle 3. Harry discovers techno musicians who want to open up a drug-fueled nightclub inside the nearby church. You know, it's a good thing I made my drinking game rules relative to when Harry imbibes, because if I took a drink every time Harry botched a skill check, I would have alcohol poisoning right now. This task does not yield positive results. I have Harry say something wildly homophobic, damaging his soul in the presence of God, and then yet another failure that hurts so much that he dies of mortification. I only reload after death, that's the rule, but in the next attempt, Harry screws up the skill check and doesn't even have an opportunity to be homophobic this time. The phone calls are too painful to deal with in my misbegotten state. No, I cannot deal with this right now. Hard pass, eject, abort. That's it, no more tripping over my own untied shoelaces. Slurp some drugs, smoke a cig, and get this suspiciously attractive woman to talk. Yes! Did it without save scumming. All I need is drugs. Now all I need is... Oh, son of a c***. The drugs have failed me again. The only solution is more drugs. It's finally speed o'clock. I waste this opportunity and do nothing requiring enhanced motorics. Karaoke time. Okay, even though this is a fully optional task that has little to no bearing on the investigation, it is the one task that I will always want to complete successfully. Ugh. No. In previous runs, I always made this check, except once when I failed it and save scummed to pass it on the next attempt. That's it.
I often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in San. Though it once was larger, how the river may rest there, down through the mist there, toward the seven sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I often stay there, in the tiny yard there. I've been so glad, looking forward to the past here. But now you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
The next morning, the demon of fascism finally emerges inside Harry's mind. I have Harry accept this, as this was the plan all along. Nevertheless, this embrace of the upper right square on the political spectrum graph feels repulsive and dangerous, like reaching into the drain of a kitchen sink that has a garbage disposal. I have never put my hand in there. Never have before, never will in the future. But in this game, well, here we go. After half completing only 2 side hustles, Harry shivers himself into Ruby's hideout.
If she kills herself, you'll get her gun.
Back in the town square, the mercenaries and the Union are about to tear each other's heads off with their own teeth. Time to intervene. Time to be a hero. Except, I don't want Harry to be a hero. He's a fascist. He should screw this up every which way. Horizontally, vertically, diagonally, get everyone killed. This botched roll should get Elizabeth murdered. This botched roll should anger the mercenaries. Harry botching his earlier rolls to figure out Klaja's game allowed her time to skip town. This botched roll should miss Corty and get everyone killed. Rather than fire again, I nudge Harry into a more pathetic action and throw the gun. It's almost over now. All I need to do is stumble one more roll and get Kim Kitsuragi shot. I have done everything in my power to get him to not only mistrust Harry, but deeply resent him. I can't just avoid doing it though, I have to do this organically. So I have to try and fail. What? Okay, fine. Kim lives to see another day. Which day? Day whatever. Kim wakes up Harry, and they are off to close out this misadventure. I got the worst outcome of the tribunal. Everyone is dead but Elaine and Eugene. They always live, but everyone else either always dies or may die. For example, Glenn always dies, but Titus may or may not survive depending on how the dice roll. I have Harry make matters worse by discouraging Eugene from continuing the Hardy Boy tradition. As I watch the fire burn, I realize that even though I had Harry take on the fascism political vision quest, he no longer has an opportunity to talk to Measurehead and everyone else now that the tribunal has concluded. Maybe that's for the best. Maybe Harry is such a fascist loser that he can't even hang out with other fascists. So much left undone. The church never becomes a nightclub. The lady with the katana blade never goes on a date with Harry. Everett Clare never gets the signatures he needs to build the youth center. No art on the wall for Harry. No special jacket on Kim. I never even got inside Kuno's secret shack or met Kuno's father. I have played Disco Elysium many times before, and without a doubt, this is the most incomplete run I have ever played. A job ruinously done. Harry dreams of his ex-something. It is extraordinarily painful to watch, but at least this time Harry definitely deserves to be alone. Nobody should date a fascist. Perhaps in this version of the events, Dora left Harry because of his god-awful politics. Dora may have felt unsafe around him. Who could blame her? Interrogating the murderer proceeds well enough until Harry starts spouting fascist nonsense and losing morale points. I love that Disco Elysium only penalizes your political dialogue if you're a fascist. No ambiguity about the writer's politics. Well, that's the end of that. Harry has died of far-right psychosis. Let's try again. This time I have Harry choose foolish answers, but not necessarily fascist answers. Only the ordinary form of ignorance rather than the dangerous form of ignorance. That does the trick. Back on the mainland, I instruct Harry to snort some speed to push himself through the last leg of this game. Whatever I'm doing every time Harry does speed, well, that's nobody's business, but it should make for quite a conclusion.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Yeah, well, my arithmetic says that means I'm still half alive, motherfucker. Kim defends Harry as best he can, even though the hirsute gumshoe does not deserve it. I'm actually surprised I didn't get the bad ending. Never got the bad ending, only ever seen it on YouTube. I gave myself a skill points handicap in the beginning, and still, Harry managed to outmaneuver enough suspects to make it through. That's it. The word end appears. One more click and Harry wins. Everything wrapped up in a pristine package with a golden bow. Harry Dubois, another fascist police officer, is back on the force. Without my guidance, he will persist in his racist and violent enforcement of whatever he considers the law. No. Fuck him. Harry does not get to live through this. He does not get to win. He does not rejoin the Jamrock Police Department, and he will do no more damage. Death to fascism. I never finished the game.